Hey, real talk, the night I first got the TCL Q65H set up, I didn't just watch a show. I felt it, like the room finally caught up with the picture. That's the kind of difference you notice the moment sound stops feeling flat and starts feeling intentional. This is for the kind of person who hears something that's almost there and knows it could be better. Before we go any deeper, take a moment and check the current price and stock. Systems like this, where the audio suddenly makes sense, don't hang around forever once people experience what they're missing. You know that frustration, big movie scene hits, and it still sounds like it's trapped in the TV instead of moving around you. Dialogue feels buried under effects, bass either booms without control or barely registers, and the whole Atmos thing sounds like a buzzword instead of placement. That's when you realize you've outgrown the compromise phase. The moment you switch to this bar with its wireless sub and surround tuning, that frustration evaporates. Sound starts to fill the space instead of just blasting out, and suddenly everything feels three-dimensional. Using it every day changes how you think about your living room. Explosions have punch that actually lands. Whisper quiet scenes have presence instead of emptiness. Music feels warm and layered, not thin or detached. Even casual TV feels richer because the system isn't just louder, it's aware, calibrated to your space so every scene unfolds like it was meant to be heard. That's what performance feels like, not just noise, but purposeful sound that matches the visuals. Right now, take one more quick look at price and availability. Don't wait around hoping for some mythical discount. Stock and pricing have their own rhythm, and hesitation can cost you. If you're wondering whether technologies like Dolby Atmos and DTS are actually worth it, let that doubt flip into clarity. They're the reason sound feels placed, not just louder. You hear movement from one side to the other, you catch footsteps and effects in a way that feels natural, and once you've felt that, anything flatter starts sounding limited instead of adequate. The calibration actually shifts the sound to feel room-aware instead of generic. One thing that genuinely surprised me was how seamless the transitions feel. It doesn't jerk from one effect to another. Everything flows, and that's something you don't appreciate until you notice the contrast with weaker systems. Owning something built at this level changes how you relate to every piece of media. You don't mute because dialogue disappears. You don't crank volume because bass never shows up. You settle into the experience because the audio finally keeps pace with the visuals. Sound feels layered and real, dialogue feels clear and anchored, bass feels lively, not overwhelming, music feels rich and expressive, feels like your whole space finally listened. Setup takes a little time to dial in, not as powerful as big dedicated systems. At some point you stop comparing specs and start listening to what your instincts have been telling you, and this is usually the system you kept circling back to in your mind anyway. Check the price and stock. Trust that instinct, and don't let this be one of those upgrades you delay and regret later.